My name's Daniel Scott. This is UDAYA.com, and today we're getting better at headstands. Now, this is a 20-minute class-ish about getting better at headstands. Now, in order to run, one must first learn to walk. In order to walk, one must first learn to crawl. Oftentimes, when it comes to inversions, we don't take the proper steps to learn how to get our feet over our head without falling. So whether you have a very good headstand or you're newer to the practice, this is going to give you some tools to work on building those proper steps to get you towards being very good. If you don't hold a headstand in the middle of the room by yourself, this is a great place to be. If you want to do these things against a wall as a spot, that's awesome. We're going to use each other as spotters, which is the same thing we can do with the wall. If you have a friend, grab them over, and let's do it. Now, first things first. Let's just get into some things you can do to build some strength in the shoulders. So let's come into a downward dog, but on our forearms. And if the forearms aren't what you want to do, you can interlace the fingers. Whether the feet are farther away, it might be actually kind of tough. So walk the feet in so the shoulders go over the elbows. Let the head hang. Now, walking the feet a bit closer, see how right here, Astrid's shoulders are just behind her elbows? Take it forward a bit, take it forward a bit. Walk the feet forward too. Keep walking the feet forward as much as you can so almost the hips start to stack over the shoulders. Now, Rachel's really open, so she can do that. If you have your fingers interlaced, you have the arms parallel, that's fine. Beata also very open. She's got open psoas, she can do this. So these are the things you can work with to start building strength. Now, from here, press down from the shoulders into the elbows through the forearms and let the shoulders melt up towards the hips. This might give you more space in the neck. So relax the head completely. Oh yeah, good. Take a few breaths here. This will start warming up the back body. This will start warming up the legs and give you an idea of hips over shoulders over elbows. This is the inversion. Now, all an inversion is when the head goes below the heart. And as you can see here, we're already ready for our inversion. So guys, bring it down. You can bend the knees, take the tailbone towards the heels. Spectacular, fantastic. Okay. People ask me all the time, they say, Daniel, what do I do with my hands in these freaking headstands? And I go, great question. So you have options. Me personally, when I interlace my fingers, I have my pinkies one in front of another. You don't have to. You can have them cross, yogi's discretion. Some people actually like to have the fingers bound and have the hands flat as they put their head down. Again, play with what feels right. The most important thing to think about is that you're not putting all of your weight through your head. This neck is not meant to support your full body's weight. So you need to use the strength in the shoulders and the strength of the bones in the arm to support in addition to what the head is. So the head is just one part of what could be the tripod that holds you up. Now, to get yourself there, a good way to set up, and you guys can do it with me, come into a child's pose. Interlace the fingers the way that you want to have it. And then, gently, just set up so you have the position ready, and then lift the shoulders, lift the head. So you just see where your hands are going to be. Now, sitting back up, guys, so shoulders back up, drop your tailbones. Extend your arms behind you, yoga mudra. It's just nice. It's a good place to start. And then, knowing that your arms are going to be right where you were, start lowering your chest over your thighs, tuck your chin, and rest your third eye, your forehead, right on the mat in front of you. Begin to lift the hips and roll towards the top of the head. You're past your forehead, past the hairline, depending on the hairline that is, maybe right by your man bun. And start to lift the arms, let the arms hang forward. Now again, we're not putting full pressure into the neck. In fact, you have a lot of weight still in your legs and the hips are starting to lift, but right now you're finding a good place for that headstand to begin. Now, keeping your head where it is, guys, release the hands and then place your hands behind your head the way that you would normally go into a headstand. So as you can see, everyone's setting up. Keeping the head how it is, squeeze the knees in towards the forehead and hug the elbows to the outside of the knees. Perfect. Now, guys, tuck your toes and extend your legs. Boom. Awesome position to start building strength and awareness. As you can see, the hips are almost stacked over the shoulders. Now, what you want to play with is starting to walk the feet a bit closer to the head. We're not going up. This is still, we hold this. Now, try to keep pressure out of the back of the neck by pouring weight through the elbows, lifting the shoulder blades up and pressing the forearms down. If the elbows tend to slide out, maybe you slide them in energetically. Feel the armpits begin to expand. Take a breath in here, bend the knees, drop the tailbone back towards the heels, and come out of it. You can sit back, you can raise the chin, and you can do that whole situation. So what you want to do is maybe 2 or 3 times is set this up as a little vinyasa, opening up. In fact, what I kind of like to do here just to make it even more interesting, I take the knuckles, open the chest, pushing the knuckles into the ground, exhaling, folding forward, tucking the chin, forehead to the floor, inhaling, lifting the hips so the arms hang forward, exhaling, the hands behind the head, elbows point towards the knees, hugging the knees towards the forehead, tucking the toes, inhaling, extending the legs, and then exhaling, gently creeping forward so I can feel the weight go fully into the forearms, from elbow to wrists. And you're gonna feel some weight in the top of the head. Not all, but some. One more time, lower this down. Go at your own pace. You don't have to hold it, but at home, when you're building the strength and awareness, hold 5 breaths, 10 breaths. So these guys are gonna go at their own pace, and you're gonna see everyone's gonna have a different speed, a different comfort level, and a different amount of flexibility. Where we're going with this, if you have very tight hips or very tight hamstrings or very tight lower back, it's gonna be hard for you to get the feet closer to the arms, closer to get the hips over the shoulders. So we're trying to work on strength and flexibility, both in front body and back. So walking forward. This is really nice. The hips are more or less over the shoulders. It's gonna make what we're doing later on a little bit easy. So when you're done with this round, come down, check your eyes forward. So the next thing we're gonna work on, it's about building control. So to show before we go upside down, we're gonna work on finding a tucked position. So if everyone comes to sit on their butt, you can scoot your butt forward towards your heels, knees in. Maybe even point the toes and have the heels hug into the hips. In fact, if you hug your arms in and you drop your head, you got this little cosmic egg position. You can balance on the tailbone. So you feel how the thighs are hugging in towards the ribs, the toes are pointing in the heels. They're not touching, but they're very close to the butt. This is a tuck position, and we're gonna use this upside down for some control. So you guys can come out of your cosmic eggs, little peepers come out, and just check what's gonna happen with that. So, setting up for our little vinyasa right here, going forward, raising up. The hands are gonna set up, I'm gonna hug forward, and right here, make sure you hug the elbows into the knees so you have a nice strong foundation. Extend the legs, start to lift up, and now, keeping your right toes on the ground, all you're gonna work on, keeping your knees together, take your left heel towards your butt, point the toe. Place it down, right heel towards your butt, point the toe. So you're gonna go back and forth a few times, trying to just find the body position. Eventually, you can work on some little synchronized swimming action. It's less about hopping and hoping, it's more about building the strength and the balance to create the stack. So here we go. Now, things you can think about. If you don't have a wall, or if you have a friend, having your friend stand right behind, maybe knees together, or 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, hands by the hips. I'm not trying to get in her way, but I'm just holding. It's really nice to know, looks great, that something's there to protect you in case you decide to fall over. You might move your bricks to the side. If you roll out, don't pick your legs up and back bend, tuck your chin and roll onto your spine. Beautiful. Things that tend to happen here is that the thighs lift up. Try to hug the thighs into the ribs. You guys look great. You don't have to spend too much time here. There's so much more to scale on. Now, if you do a little bit of this every day, over time, it gets much easier. So after you've done that, dear fellow yogis, what's next? Well, the next movement we're gonna do after we've taken the feet off the ground is we're gonna start accessing the core to move the bones to lift the thighs parallel to the ground. Check it out. A vinyasa headstand style, leaning forward, da-da-da-da. Rolling over to here. You don't have to do all this, but man, it really gets you in this idea of finding what works. Now, even before I lift, you see this little extra, I'm pressing into the elbows, I come onto the toes. If my hamstrings are too tight, I might be farther away. I might have to do a little bit of a hop, but it's not about hop and lift. It's about hop and press through the arms. 1, 2.
And the next movement, keeping the thighs squeezed together, going into the elbows, lifting the shoulders, pointing the knees in the direction that my eyes are looking. Toes point, heels by the tailbone. Bringing it back down. You see how the back stays full? Navel draws in, and then I can extend. So then you can add this little guy into your repertoire. Boom. Just like that. 3,000 to 5,000.
Now, if this is something new for you, you might start feeling very tight in the shoulders, very tight in the neck. Don't push it. There's so much yoga on this website. Check it out. Open up your shoulders, open up your things, open up your stuff. This is strictly handstand. So if anytime, it's up to you to think, is this right for me? Guys, let's try it out. So, setting up however you want, coming in towards that tuck, that upside down cosmic egg. And then once you have that, heels stay by the tailbone, thighs lift parallel to the ground. Think about this. Where am I moving from? Am I lifting the bones to move the muscles, or am I engaging the muscles to move the bones? That's about it. A little bit too high. Lower it down a bit. Even here, you can just hug the thighs back into the ribs and then lift it up again. It's not just core. You're feeling your lower back activate. If you have a very flexible lower back, this is actually going to be a lot of work for you. If you have a very inflexible lower back, it might even almost be easier, but it's the balance that becomes precarious. If you can't squeeze the legs together fully, that's fine. Just do your best. You guys are all really massively awesome. And if it's not time for you to lift everything up, you simply default back to where you need to be. If you spend 3 months doing this, that 4th month, man, it's gonna be a blessing in disguise. You don't know it until it shows up. Come on down. Cool. Now, all good things, we want to progress higher, higher, faster and faster. So I suggest maybe higher, but definitely not faster. This slowness that we have in this practice, this patience that we put into finding these steps, it's not just headstand, it's handstand, it's forearm stand. It's the awareness of the core, and from this, moving from the inside out, anything is possible. That's enough talking. Let's show the next thing. I'm just gonna go right in for the headstand. Now, actually, let's maybe go for a side so you can see. From here, the idea, heels to butt, knees lift forward, and then heels stretch up. I think a lot about being like a super spy, and I'm trying to sneak up like this ninja, kind of like I'm shooting up the pipe. So I think if I don't want to touch anything outside, because if I do, I'm going to explode in a ball of flame. This is the craziness that I think about. You might think more like soft puppies and kittens. That's up to you. But the idea is to keep hugging the midline to find that lift. So one more time. Heels to butt, knees lift up, toes extend straight up. You can hold this, heels to butt, thighs to ribs, extend the legs. And then you can continue moving forward. Like that, through the whole flow. Trying to take up maybe that much space. Do what you can, don't do what you can't, or at least try what you'd like. One round, see what feels right for you. I can walk around and show some stuff. Now again, for a spotting position, here, actually turn sideways so your butt's facing this way. Yeah, perfect. What I can do is I'm not trying to hold and lift. In fact, I want my partner to really feel that they have the support. So even from here, I can just give a tiny bit of tap right here. Just take the heels to your butt. Perfect. Squeeze the knees together. Lift the thighs. Take your feet back towards my voice. You got it. Perfect. See how she's starting to arch a bit? I'm just here for her. I'm here for her. Maybe a hip there. Perfect. Awesome. Try the legs straight up. I'm not going to stop you from falling back unless you do. That's it. Squeeze the legs. Squeeze the legs. Nope. Boom. Perfect. Always follow gravity the way that you came. That was awesome. Take a break. Sweet. Everyone else over here looking pretty good. Now, slowly bring it down. Once you've got that down, man, by this point, you're months into your practice, you're just really killing the headstand. Now you can work on variations. So we're gonna show 2 variations. The first one is straddle. Now, Upavishta Konasana, right? But if it's a straddle position right here, the legs are wide, and we would call this a pike in acrobatics, but let's just say this is just a straddle. Now, there's 2 types of straddle. There's the pike straddle, and there's an open straddle. this plays out when you're upside down, so you can play with both. There's also just the pike itself, this Paschimottanasana, this body shape, this 90 degrees. So these are the 2 variations, maybe 3 variations that we're gonna play with. Step 1, headstand. Now, once you get the hips over, instead of bending the knees in, you can point the toes, press through the top of the feet, and then lift up halfway. Oh, you hold that for about 30 or 40 days, bring it down, or if you feel possible, you can lift it up. Now, it's not about going fast. In fact, if you can get really good at holding in all these different angles, the core awareness that you will get from that journey alone will be plenty to take further into any practice of inversion. So, that's variation 1. Variation 2 is going from a straddle. So you take the legs wide, and maybe that's just lift one leg up, lift another leg up. Maybe both legs halfway. You might even have to do a tiny hop if you can't get there, but it's hop and hold. It's not hop and fall. Keep your eyes on your toes the whole time. Maybe you can come to a straddle this way. So give one of these variations a chance. If you end up lifting all the way in the straddle, it's on you not to fall back. The idea is control, not lack thereof. So what I see is a lot of people working on the variations that feel right for them, but all are working hips over shoulders. It's not about hopping, it's about lifting. You're creating the lift to make the shape. Accurate self-assessment, know thyself. Especially if you're practicing alone, you're your own safety, you're your own spotter, so you have to know what you're capable of or what you're capable of doing to expand your reach. Woo! Amazing. Sometimes when you have someone to surround, it makes it a bit more challenging. You guys look beautiful. Now, different hand variations. The hands can be flat on the ground. There's also the tripod headstand. Once you get really good with not using your neck, you're able to pour the weight through your hands where your elbows would normally be. So you can also try that. Still the same idea, still the same setup, except now I have elbows over wrists and I'm pressing here. So a good way to build awareness before you pop up or press up is simply being right here. It does put a lot more stress on the neck. So you want to work towards that, not just jumping right in. From that tripod, straddle might even be a bit easier because your shoulders are a bit more lifted so you have more space to play with. Now, a great post headstand stretch, and everyone can see from behind. We're gonna take our right arm up. We're gonna take our right arm out, thumb down. We're gonna bend the right elbow, take it behind the back, grab the left bicep. The left palm's gonna go up, like we're offering something to someone. Let the eyes close, let the shoulders relax here. Take a breath in, and then exhale. Begin to lower the right ear towards the right shoulder. You'll start to feel a stretch all from that left ear to the left shoulder and the left chest, keeping that left palm active. From here on your next exhale, you can begin to slowly lower the chin towards the heart. Very slowly, working all the different muscles that support the neck. Eventually, 7 hours later, that chin drops to the chest. And then to come out, you lower the left ear towards the left shoulder. And you make the whole thing happen on the way out. Come out, arms wide, switching. Left thumb down, bend left elbow. Left hand behind back, grab right bicep. Right palm up, shoulders down the spine, eyes forward. Take an inhale here, exhale left ear towards left shoulder. This can go on for hours, and in fact, I spend lots of time traveling. This is one of my favorite things to release tension in the neck. As I exhale, the chin drops towards the chest. As you exhale, all this beautiful stuff begins to unwind from the upper body. Chin towards the heart, breath towards the future, mind starting to release, right ear towards the right shoulder, head above the heart, release the hands, and relax. My name's Daniel Scott. You just got a little better at headstands. This is UDAYA.com. Excelsior.